What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Wealth Hacker Labs. I'm your gracious host, Jeff Rose. Got another update regarding the economic stimulus check, the $1,200 check that many of you have received, and yet many of you haven't. In fact, over 70 million Americans are still waiting to get their paper check in the mail. And this is pretty evident based off what you are seeing on social media. People are sharing their frustration in trying to figure out what the status of their check is, how to update their information. And the IRS released an online portal, the Get My Payment tracking tool, that's supposed to show you when you're expected to get your check, but many haven't been able to use that portal with any success. One of the most common error messages that people are getting is the payment status not available, which is so frustrating. And the IRS recently just updated their FAQ section on the website to share what that could mean for you. And we'll get to that in a second. First, I wanted to address, when are the paper checks going to get mailed? Because last week I reported that it said, based on the IRS timeline, that checks were going to be mailed out today, April the 20th. But now it's been pushed back until the 24th. We hope. Now, there was a lot of talk and rumors where the reason that checks were delayed was because Trump wanted to sign his name on every single check, or at least have his name in the memo line. But it was shared that, and whether this is true or not, I'll let you decide, that that wasn't the big holdup. In fact, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin recently shared the real reason why checks are being delayed, and this is what he had to say.
Well, let me just correct you and say the checks have not gone out yet, and the reason why the checks have not gone out is we're hoping that more people, as I said, will go to IRS.gov. It's much safer to send out direct deposits. As it relates to the president's name on it, the president could have been authorized to sign the checks. That would have slowed things down. We didn't want to do that. We did put the president's name on the check. That was my idea. He is the president, and I think it's a terrific symbol to the American public.
And it seems like there is some validity on what he has to say, because if the IRS had a preference, they would very much rather send out a direct deposit than sending out an old school snail mail check. But that being said, I've seen many people share where they were not able to update their information, even though they had filed a tax return, even though the IRS had their direct deposit information on file, and yet they're still sending them out a check on the 24th of April. I'm curious, does this apply to you? Have you been unable to update the information on the IRS's website? If so, let me know in the comments below. The IRS launched their Get My Payment online tracking tool, and that was supposed to be the #1 resource for Americans to find out what is the status of your check. Now, for some, it worked, but for many, it has been frustration after frustration after frustration. And especially when the most common, almost generic message that you get is payment status not available. Recognizing that many people were getting this status update whenever they inputted their information, all their correct information, the IRS updated their FAQ section on the website to give some reasoning as why you might be getting that payment status not available message whenever you complete the Get My Payment tool. So some of the reasons that they have shared why you may be getting the payment status not available is the following. First, they say you are required to file a tax return, but we haven't finished processing your 2019 return, or the application doesn't yet have your data. We're working on adding more data to allow more people to use it. Now, just to address the first point there, we haven't finished processing your 2019 return. Just imagine how many Americans have been trying to push their tax returns through, trying to get them through. And the IRS, on top of trying to issue all these checks, 70 million paper checks, I can only imagine how swamped they are trying to process all of these tax returns. So although it's a very short one bullet point as part of this FAQ, like that is a big deal. I wish they would share some more information on, what is the status of how many tax returns have they received and how many more do they have yet to process, because that would give a very good indication of when these checks are going to be mailed out. The FAQ goes on to also say, you don't usually file a return, and you use non-filers, enter payment info here, but we haven't processed your entry yet. So do you see a theme here? We haven't processed your entry yet. Another bullet point, you receive a SSA or RRB form 1099 or SSI or VA benefits. Information has not been loaded onto our systems yet for people who don't normally file a tax return, or you're not eligible to receive a payment, and it has a link to that. We've discussed that in great detail if you qualify or don't qualify for the $1,200 stimulus check. But basically, if you just want to put a nice little theme on what the IRS is saying here, is that, man, we just don't have time. Like we're just swamped, and we're trying to do everything that we can. We just haven't processed everything. Like we made this tool available so you can see where your check is, but the reality is that we just don't have the manpower to finish all of these tax returns. Now, I hope that this will continue to be updated. I know I have seen many people share on social media that they did get the status update saying that their check was going to be mailed out on the 24th. I wish there, if you have received that message, I'm curious, do they give you some sort of tracking ID that you can see like what the status is, kind of like your UPS or FedEx delivery, so you can see where it is, what the status is. Oh, it's getting ready to arrive to your mailbox. Great, awesome. Because man, like, okay, yay, it's mailed out on the 24th, but it's going to take you 5 weeks to actually get it to you. Anyway, it's a whole other story, but just want to give you some information on the latest, the greatest on what's going on with the stimulus check, what's going on with the Get My Payment IRS tracking tool. Got more updates coming. Be sure to subscribe so you can get more of this information that you need to just get through this crazy time. All right, y'all, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.